I'd like to start by acknowledging the incident in Barcelona, which has the hallmarks, it appears, of yet another terrorist attack. We offer our condolences to the loss of life and the injuries that have occurred to so many innocent people yet again. We will continue to monitor the situation. We stand ready to assist law enforcement, national security authorities in Spain. Our consulates in Barcelona and our entire Mission Spain team are currently assisting Americans in Spain who are affected by these events. We ask U.S. citizens in the area to let your loved ones know you are safe. Terrorists around the world should know the United States and our allies are resolved to find you and bring you to justice. Secretary Mattis and I are grateful for the opportunity today to host Foreign Minister Kono and Defense Minister Onodera today. The bonds of America and Japan have forged over previous decades will continue to endure. Today's honest and productive discussions reaffirmed our mutual commitment to confronting threats to regional peace and security. And as you might imagine, we spent a fair amount of time discussing North Korea. North Korea's recent intercontinental ballistic missile and other missile launches are unacceptable provocations, and they must stop immediately. We agreed to bolster our alliance capabilities to deter and respond to North Korea's unacceptable behavior and other challenges to regional security. In cooperation with other nations, we will continue to employ diplomatic and economic pressure to convince North Korea to end its illegal nuclear and ballistic missile program. I think as was clear by all peace-seeking nations and the unanimous UN Security Council resolution that was adopted, as well as very strong statements being made by the ASEAN nations and others throughout the world, we all seek the complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization of North Korea. We again call upon all nations to fully enforce the UN Security Council resolution imposing additional sanctions on the regime in North Korea. We will remain vigilant against the North Korean threats through our military preparedness. The United States will honor our treaty agreements with Japan without reservation, whether in times of peace or in the face of conflict. We will also cooperate to advance trilateral and multilateral security and defense cooperation with other partners in the region, notably the Republic of Korea, Australia, India, and other Southeast Asian countries. We also discussed our concern about the security environment in the East China Sea and South China Sea. The United States and Japan oppose any unilateral action that seeks to undermine Japan's administration of the Senkaku Islands, and we reaffirmed that Article 5 of the U.S.-Japan Security Treaty covers these islands. We also oppose militarization activity in the South China Sea. Maritime disputes should be settled peacefully and maintain the freedom of navigation in accordance with the United Nations Conventions on the Law of the Sea. We maintain our unwavering commitment to the 2015 guidelines for U.S.-Japan defense cooperation, and we have instructed our staff to accelerate their implementation. We also will explore new and expanded activities in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, training and exercises, research and development, capacity building, and joint or shared use of facilities. Our conversation stressed the critical role that U.S. extended deterrence plays in ensuring the security of Japan as well as the peace and stability of the Asia-Pacific region, and we plan to deepen our engagement through the extended deterrence dialogue. Both the United States and Japan are committed to the realignment of U.S. forces in Japan, which seeks to maintain operational and deterrent capability while limiting the impact on local communities. I welcome the resumption of the plan to construct the Futema replacement at the Camp Schwab Hinosaki area and adjacent waters, as this is the only solution that addresses operational, political, financial, and strategic concerns and avoids the continued use of the Marine Corps Air Station Futenma. We hope to avoid further delays that will impede our ability to provide peace and security to Japan and the region. We do express our sincere appreciation to Okinawa for hosting U.S. military personnel and for playing a central role in the U.S.-Japan alliance. The United States and Japan will continue our shared resolve to protect our citizens and work for security and stability in Northeast Asia. Our conversations today reaffirmed that we are stronger and more secure when we work together, and we will continue that course of action. And with that, I turn it to Foreign Minister Kono.
外務大臣の河野太郎でございます。
My name is Taro
まず
Kono,
冒頭
Foreign Minister.
バルセ
At
ロ
the
ナで起きま
outset,
した事案に際し、
with regard to the
犠牲になられ
incident
た
that occurred in
方々へ
Barcelona,
の
to all
ご
those
家
that have
族
been
に
sacrificed
心か
and
ら
to their families,
哀悼の意
I'd
を
like to
表
express
す
my
るとともに
deep-felt
負傷された
condolences.
方々に
And to those that have
お
been
見舞い申し上げ
injured,
たいと思い
I should
ま
also
す。
like to express my
テロはい
sympathy.
かなる理由であれ、許
Under
されるものでは
no
なく、
reason can
断固
terrorism be
非難すると
condoned.
ともに、
We
この
absolutely
困難な
condemn
時期
this,
に
and
ス
at
ペイン
this
に
very
連帯を
difficult
表明したいと思い
time,
ま
I'd
す。
like to express our solidarity to Spain.
本日の日米2+2会合
At
で
the
は
2+2 conference between Japan and the United States, we had discussions which were very rich in substance,
ティラソン長官、
allowing
マ
us
ティ
to
ス長
achieve
官をは
major
じめ
outcomes. I'd like to
今会
thank
合の
Secretary
成功
Tillerson and
に
Mattis
向けて
and all
尽
those who
力さ
have
れ
worked
た
to
関係
make
者
the
の皆様
conference
に
a
お礼
success.
を申し上げたいと思います。この会合は
The conference
今年
was
2月の
convened
安
based
倍総理
on
訪米の
instructions from
際
the
に
leaders of the
日
United
米両
States
首
and
脳か
Japan
ら
on the occasion
出
of
され
Prime
た指
Minister
示に
Abe's
基づい
visit
て
to the
開
United
催
States
を
in
いたし
February
ました。
of this year.
アジア太平洋地域の
The security
安
environment
全保障
in
環
the
境が
Asia Pacific
一
is
層
becoming
厳しさを増
increasingly
している
severe.
中で、日米の一致した対応が今以上に
Never
求
has
め
there
られ
been a
ている
time
時
that
は
calls for
ない
a
と
more
思っ
united
て
and
おります。
concerted response by the
こ
United
のような
States
観
and
点か
Japan.
ら、
From
今
such a
日
perspective,
北朝鮮
we
情
had
勢をは
an
じめ
in-depth discussion
ア
on
ジア
the
太平洋
strategic
地域
environment
の
of the
戦略
Asia
環境
Pacific
につい
region,
て
beginning with the
かなり
North
突っ込んだ
Korean
議論
situation.
をさせていただきました。トランプ政権発足後
At this first
初めての
2+2 conference
2 プラ
since
ス2
the
にお
start
き
of
ま
the
して
Trump
この地
administration,
域の
we
平
were
和
able
と
to
安全に
reaffirm the
対す
strong
る
commitment of the United
日米
States
両
and
国の
Japan,
力強いコミットメント
which
を
is extremely
改めて
significant.
確認することができたことは非常
The
に
strong
意義
commitment
深い
to
もの
the
があると
region,
思
which is
っておりま
extremely
す。
significant.
北朝鮮につきましては
On North
そ
Korea,
の非核化
towards
に向
its
けて
denuclearization,
実効的な圧力
we
を
agreed
さら
we
に
would
一
ramp
層
up effective
強めていく
pressure.
ということで一致をいたしました。中国に
We
対
will
し
call on
北朝鮮
China
の
to take
行動を
specific
改めさせる具
measures
体的
to
な
make North
措
Korea
置を
change
求めていく。
its
ま
behavior.
た弾道ミサイルの脅
On
威
the
に対
threat
して
of
も
ballistic missiles,
同盟としての
as an alliance,
防衛
we
体
will
制と
strengthen
能力
our
を強
defense
化をし
posture
対応
and
していくこと
capabilities and
これで
respond.
一致をいたしまし
We
た。
have agreed
また
on
日米
this
韓の
point.
安保協力の重要性につきましても
We have
改めて確認を
confirmed
いたしました
the。importance of
東シナ海
cooperation through
およ
the
び
security
南シナ海を
treaty.
めぐる情勢に
We shared
関しても
our
懸
concerns
念を
regarding the
共
situation
有すること
surrounding
ができ
East
ま
and
した。
South China
尖
Sea.
閣諸島に日米安保
We
条約
reaffirmed
第
that
5
the
条
Senkaku
が
Islands
適用され
are
るこ
within the
と
scope of
お
Article
よび
5 of the
尖閣諸島に対
Japan-US
する
Security
日本
Treaty,
の姿勢
and
を
that we
損
would
なおうと
oppose
するいかなる
any unilateral
一方的な
behavior
行動にも
attempting
反
to
対する
undermine
ことを
Japan's
再確
administration
認をいたしま
of
した。
the Senkaku Islands.
我が国は東アジアの
For
そして東シナ海の
the
平和
peace and
安定のた
stability
め
of East Asia
米
and
国
East
と
China
引き
Sea,
続き
we will
協
continue to
力を
cooperate
してまいり
with
ます。
the United States.
南シナ海につきまして
On
は
the South China Sea,
航行の自由を支える
We have
さまざまな活動を含め
confirmed
継続的な関与が重要であるこ
that
と
we
を
need
確
to
認をいたしま
continue
した。
to engage ourselves and watch
ま
for
たこう
any
した
acts
厳しい
which would
安全
impede
保障環境
freedom
の
of
下では
navigation.
あら
Under
ゆる
this
事態におい
severe 日
て
environment,
米同盟として
under
の
all
シームレスな
situations,
対応を確
the
保すること
alliance
が
must
極
secure
めて
seamless
重要であり
response.
同盟強化のための検討をしっかり行っていくこと、
We agreed
サイバ
that
ー、
we
宇宙
would
といった
properly examine
新た
ways
な
to strengthen
分野での
the
日米
alliance
協
and
力
in
を
area of
着実に推
cyberspace
進
and
してい
space.
く
We would
こう
steadily
いうことにつき
promote
ましても
Japan-US
合意でき
cooperation
ま
in
した。
new areas. We were able to
韓国、オ
achieve
ーストラリア、イ
agreement
ン
on
ド
this.
あるいは東南ア
ROK,
ジア諸国と
Australia,
の
India,
安全
and
保障
Southeast
防衛協力を
Asian
これまで
countries.
以上に
We
推進
will
してまいります。
promote more than ever before
インド太平洋
cooperation in
地域の
security and
沿
defense.
岸国の 海洋安全保障能力分野の能力構築支援については、我が国は今年から2019年までの3年間に約5億ドルの支援を行ってまいります。今後この分野でもアメリカとの連携を深めてまいります。また、今後この地域の透明性のある経済発展のために日米で緊密に協力していくことで一致をいたしました。本日の会合では日米同盟の抑止力を維持しつつ、沖縄をはじめとする地元の負担軽減を図る観点から在日米軍再編を着実に推進することが不可欠であるということを改めて確認をいたしました。普天間飛行場の固定化を避けるためには、辺野古への移設が唯一の解決策であることを日米間で改めて確認をするとともに、私からは現行の日米合意に従い、強い決意で辺野古移設を進めていくことを説明をいたしました。普天間飛行場の全面返還を実現するために全力で取り組んでまいります。嘉手納飛行場をめぐるさまざまな問題につきましても、地元の理解を得るための努力が必要であるということを指摘をさせていただきました。今日の会合の結果、一層厳しさを増す安全保障環境の中で、日米同盟が進んでいくべき道を明確にすることができたと思います。今日の成果を踏まえ、日米同盟の抑止力、対処力を一層強化する取り組みをしっかり進めてまいりたいと思います。以上です。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor for us to host Japan's defense and foreign ministers here. I don't think anything better demonstrates the importance that our two nations place on this alliance than our counterparts traveling here so soon after assuming their positions. As you've heard, we've just completed warm and very productive, detailed conversations about the situation facing our nations, and we have achieved very highly useful results. First, of course, we never take alliances for granted, and what we've done is we've reaffirmed the trust between us. Second, we have deepened and broadened our combined military efforts by improving on our bilateral relations and exercises. As President Trump noted in February, the United States' commitment to defend Japan through the full range of military capabilities is unwavering. Under Article 5 of our Mutual Defense Treaty, and the extended deterrent commitment. As demonstrated by the UN Security Council resolution and by the ASEAN communique, the international community also recognizes North Korea is a threat to Asia and to the world. Japan and the Republic of Korea are on the front line against the North Korean threat. We in the United States recognize any confrontation with North Korea would pose an immediate danger to our allies and their populations. Today's meeting is a reminder that each nation gains security in concert with other nations. The international community is speaking with one voice. North Korea must stop its dangerous actions as we work to maintain security and denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. In light of the serious situation we face, we are accelerating implementation of the 2015 guidelines for the U.S.-Japan defense cooperation and continuing to realign U.S. forces in Japan and Guam. Our militaries are also cooperating in new ways, and you've heard several of them mentioned here already. This includes our emerging cooperation in such areas as space and counterspace, cyberspace, as well as ballistic missile defense and maritime security. Together, we will deter and, if necessary, defeat any threat. Any initiation of hostilities will be met with an effective and overwhelming response. Our two nations will demonstrate the strength of our alliance by continuing those bilateral activities and by enhancing cooperation with the Republic of Korea. We call on North Korea to choose a better path than one of provocation and threats. Such a path is not in its own best interest, nor in the best interest of any other nation. Thank you. Minister Onodera.
小野寺です。大変良い話し合いができたと思います。
My name is Onodera.
はじ
I
めに
think we
素
had
晴
a
らしい
wonderful
成果を導
discussion.
いてくれ
First of
まし
all,
た
I would
マ
like
ティス
to
長官、
express
そして
my
ティラーソン長
heartfelt
官に
respect
感謝を申し上げたいと思っており
Secretary
ます。
Mattis and Secretary
私が
Tillerson
前回参
for
加しました
leading us to have such a
2013
great
年
outcome
の
of the
2
meeting.
プラス2で
In
日米ガイドラインの見直しの検討
2015,
が
we
開
have
始さ
drawn
れ
up
ました
the guideline
そして
and we have
2015年に
changed
ガイドラインが策定され
the
日米防衛協
guideline
力が
following
大きく
the
進展し
new
日米同盟はかつてないほど
legislation.
強固になってい
And
ます。
since that, the
しかしなが
defense
ら
cooperation between
地域
Japan
の
and U.S.
戦
has
略
greatly
環境に
progressed,
目を向け
and
れば
the alliance
私たちの
has
同盟の前
never
には
been
北
so
朝鮮と
solid.
いう喫緊の課
However,
題が
if we
存在い
look
たします
to the regional
北朝
strategic
鮮は今
environment in front of
グア
us,
ム島周辺への
in
弾
front
道
of
ミサイ
our
ルの
alliance,
発射計
we
画
have
に
the
言及しているほ
pressing
か
issue of North Korea.
ICBM 級
North
の
Korea
弾道ミ
has
サイル
some
の発
plans
射
to
核兵器
launch
の小型
the
化
ballistic
弾頭
missiles
化への
to the
取り
waters
組みを
close to
進めており
Guam,
ます
and it is also
このよう
advancing
な
on their
北朝鮮
efforts
の
to
脅威
launch
について
ICBM class
今会
ballistic
合では
missiles, miniaturizing
圧力を強
nuclear
化するとともに
weapons to
同
warheads.
盟の
So
能力を
for
強
this
化していくこと
threat
で
of North
一致を
Korea,
いたしました
at this meeting
ま
we
た
agreed
北朝鮮の
to
脅威を
increase the
踏まえ
pressure and to
米国
strengthen
の
the
揺るぎのな
alliance's
い拡
capability.
大抑止のコ
In
ミッ
light
ト
of
メント
the
の
threat of
重要
North
性を
Korea,
4閣僚で確認をいたしました
the four of us
現在
confirmed the
米国はよ
importance
り多
of
くのアセッ
the
トをアジ
unwavering
ア太平
U.S.
洋地域に
commitment to
展
extended
開するなど
deterrence.
目に見
Also,
える
U.S.
形で
forces
この地
have
域へ
been
のコミット
deploying
メント
even
を
more
示しています
assets in the Asia
私
Pacific
は
region
このような
and
米国の
has
取
been
り組みを
showing
高く評
their
価しております
commitment
我が
visibly
国
to
は
this
米
region.
国とともに
I
日本の防衛体制
would
と能力の向上に
like
取り組んでいきます
to highly
また
evaluate
日米韓の
the
協力
efforts
で
of the
協
United
力の
States
重要性
and
について
also
も改めて
continuing
確
with
認を
the
いたしました
United States. I would
この
like
ほ
to
か
make
4
efforts
閣僚で
to enhance
東シナ海
the
南シナ
defense
海をめぐる情勢に
capability
ついての
and defense
懸念
posture
も
of
共
Japan.
有いたしました
Also, we
東シナ
shared
海の
our
平和
concerns
と安
on
定
East
の
China
確保や
Sea and South
南
China
シナ
Sea
海沿岸諸
situation.
国への関与につい
We
て
will
日米
deepen
間の
our
防衛協力を
defense
進化させ
cooperation
てまいります
in securing the peace and
安全保
stability
障
in East
防
China
衛協
Sea,
力の
as
強化
well
に
as
ついて
engaging
言及いたします
coastal
あらゆる
nations
事態
in
に
the South
日米同盟とし
China
て
Sea.
切れ目のない対応を確保す
In
る
order
た
to
め
secure
同盟
seamless
強化の
response
取り
of
組
the
みは常
alliance
に
to any
続けなけれ
situation,
ばなりま
we
せん
must constantly
本日
continue
の議論を
our
通じ
efforts to strengthen
今
the
後の取り
alliance.
組みの
Through
具
today's
体的な
discussion,
方向性を
we
生
were
み出すこ
able
と
to
がで
seek
きま
out
した
a specific
今後は
direction for
ガイド
future
ラインの
efforts.
実施を加速させ
Moving forward,
平和
we
安全法制の
will
下での協
accelerate
力を
the
さらに
implementation
推
of
進
a
するととも
guideline,
に
and we will further
警戒
promote
監視や
cooperation
共
under
同
the
訓練
peace
など
and
平
security
時の協
legislation.
力を拡
We
大
will
させていきます
expand peacetime
さらに
cooperation such as
新規アセ
surveillance
ット
and
の
joint
導入を
training.
含む
And furthermore,
弾道ミサイル防衛や
we
宇
will
宙サイバーとい
continue
った
to
新たな
promote
領
their
域の
cooperation
能力
in
向上のため
ballistic missile
協力を進め
defense,
てまいり
including
ます
acquisition of new
これらを
assets
通じ
and
日米の
enhanced
共同
capability
対
in
処
new
体制をさら
domains
に
such as
強化
space
してい
and
く考
cyberspace.
えです
Through this,
合わ
we
せて
intend to
我が
strengthen
国自
further
身の防衛
our
力を
joint
強化するため
responsive
防衛大綱の見直し
posture.
や地域防衛
Along
力整備
with
計画の
this,
策定について
in
の
order to
検討を
strengthen
本
our
格
own
化させる考
defense
えであり
capability,
こうした状況につい
we
て
tend to
今日の会議で
review
説明し
the
理解を
national
得た
defense
ところであり
program
ます
and also work
在日米
on
軍のプレゼンスは
the
日米同盟が抑止力と
midterm
して機能
defense
する上で
program, and this
中
was
核と
explained
な
in
り
the
ます
meeting today.
同時
The
に
presence of the
米
U.S.
軍
forces
の運
in
用には
Japan is at the
安全
core
確保や
for the
地元へ
alliance
の
to
配慮
function
も不
as
可欠でありま
deterrence.
す
At the same
こ
time,
の観点から
the
抑止力
operation
を維
of
持しつつ
U.S.
地元の負担軽減を
forces
図る在日米軍の
take into
再編事業
consideration
を着実に進めることで
the local residents
進める
and
ことを日米
secure
で確認い
safety.
たし
These
ま
are
した
indispensable. From this
特に普
standpoint,
天間飛行場の
we
辺野古
were
への移
able to
設は
confirm
普天間飛
our
行場の
steady
継続的な使用を回避するための
of
唯一
the
の解決
realignment
策であり
of the U.S.
移設
resources in order to reduce the burden on the local people, maintaining the deterrence at the same time. The transfer of Futenma Air Station to Henoko is the only solution to avoid continuous usage of the Futenma Air Station. So we will steadily proceed with the construction of this transfer. Cadena Air Base issue and the Osprey are matters that I have renewed my request for the consideration to the local residents and securing the safety. In light of today's outcome, I would devote myself even further for the securing the safety and security of the people.
Let's start questions with our reporters, please. Please keep it to one question. Let's start with Elise Labott from CNN for Secretary Tillerson. Elise.
Thank you very much. Actually, I would love if both Secretary Tillerson and Mattis could answer a question on North Korea. You wrote in your op-ed last week that obviously the U.S. prefers a diplomatic solution to the crisis in North Korea, but you said that diplomatic and economic efforts and pressure were, quote, backed by a credible military option. In recent days, the White House strategist Steve Bannon called the diplomatic and economic ratcheting up of tensions with North Korea a, quote, sideshow. He said that there was no military solution and that the real issue is an economic war with China. Does this reflect some kind of new opinion by the administration, or was he speaking for himself? And are you afraid that comments like this might dilute the credible military deterrent that is backing your diplomatic and economic efforts? Thank you.
Well, I don't really have a comment on what Mr. Bannon's remarks were in that particular interview. I read those. I think we have been quite clear as to what the policy and the posture towards North Korea is. And I think Secretary Mattis and I, in that op-ed, wanted to inform, as best we were able to do, inform the American people first, but also inform our important friends and allies as to what our approach is. And our approach has been endorsed by the President. It is reviewed with him periodically in terms of the status of how the approach is working. And it is first and foremost, as you have seen, to undertake a very concerted, deliberate campaign of exerting pressure on the regime in North Korea to an extent that is best we can tell. And we did study previous attempts over the past 2 decades. What's different about this campaign is, I think, the level of international unity around this campaign, the level of cooperation we are getting from China and from others in the region, and the intensity with which we are carrying out the campaign. Obviously, any diplomatic effort in any situation where you have this level of threat that we're confronted with, a threat of proportions that none of us like to contemplate, has to be backed by a strong military consequence if North Korea chooses wrongly. And I think that is the message that the President has wanted to send to the leadership of North Korea. And it was really in response to this ever-escalating levels of threat and rhetoric that were coming from the regime in Pyongyang. And you've heard the words, you've seen the videos that they have produced. I think the President just felt it was necessary to remind the regime of what the consequences for them would be if they chose to carry out those threats. We are prepared. We're prepared militarily. We're prepared with our allies to respond if that is necessary. That is not our preferred pathway, and that's been made clear as well. So we continue our full-out efforts, working with partners, working with allies, to bring that pressure on the regime in North Korea with a view that at some point, with a unified international message like we've never had before, they will realize the level of isolation they find themselves in, and that the future that they will face with that level of isolation is bleak and will only become bleaker if they continue this pathway. So that is our effort, is to cause them to want to engage in talks, but engage in talks with an understanding that these talks will lead to a different conclusion than talks of the past. And so we will continue that effort diplomatically first and foremost, but knowing that North Korea sits with a significant capability already within their grasp, I think it is only prudent that they fully understand the consequences should they make a bad choice for themselves, and obviously there are consequences for others as well.
The next question from Japanese media. Mr. Sugimoto.
産経新聞の杉本と申します。河野大臣とティラーソン長官、お二方に話していきたいと思います。質問は北朝鮮をめぐる対話と圧力についてです。北朝鮮に関してどのような条件が整えば対話を始めることができるとお考えになりますでしょうか。合わせまして今日の会合ではその北朝鮮に影響力を持つ中国に対して断固たる措置を取るということで一致したと思います。ただこれまで中国に関しては日米が求めるような圧力を十分にかけていないというのが現状だと思います。日米が行っている努力がどのようにその現段階で足りないので中国が十分に動いていないというふうに思われるでしょうか。よろしくお願いします。
7月の日米韓の首脳会談で確認されたとおり、北朝鮮がその進路を変更し、挑発的かつ脅迫的な行動を自制し、非核化に向けて真剣な対話に戻る、そういう措置を取るということがまず大事だと思います。対話のための対話には意味がないということで一致をいたしております。引き続き日米あるいは日米韓を中心とする国際社会が連携して北朝鮮に対して最大限の圧力をかけていく必要があると思っております。その際、北朝鮮との貿易額の約9割を占めている中国の役割が極めて重要だというのはその通りだと思います。新たな安保理決議2371号が厳格かつ全面的に履行されれば、北朝鮮の外貨収入を年間総額で10億ドル以上削減することができるというふうに思っております。中国にはこの安保理決議を完全かつ厳格に履行していただくよう我々としてはしっかり促してまいりたいと思っておりますし、15日以降北朝鮮からの石炭、鉄鉱石、海産物こうしたものの輸入を禁止するということを中国の商務部が発表しております。今回アメリカと意見を一致を見た通り、北朝鮮の具体的な行動を促すために中国に対して引き続き責任ある建設的な行動を求めていきたいというふうに思っています。
And our next question for Yegina Torabadi from Reuters for Secretary Mattis.
Thank you. Secretary Mattis, wanted to ask you first about Afghanistan. Do you expect to have a decision on the administration's South Asia strategy after tomorrow's meeting at Camp David? And what should we expect that strategy to look like? And just very quickly, your service chiefs have spoken about the events of Charlottesville and condemning white supremacy and racism and hate. And I was just wondering if you wanted to add to any of those comments as well. Thank you.
Certainly. First, in response to CNN's earlier question, I can just assure you that in close collaboration with our allies, there are strong military consequences if DPRK initiates hostilities. In regards to the Afghanistan meeting tomorrow, we will meet with the President, Secretary Tillerson and I, and several others on the national security team. We will move this toward a decision. As I said, I think it was yesterday publicly, we are coming very close to a decision, and I anticipate it in the very near future. On the service chiefs and the comments after Charlottesville, these are leaders of our diverse armed forces. They simply said the same message that we have lived by for decades, and we continue not to serve in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps. We serve in the United States Army, United States Navy, etc. And in that regard, it's a widely diverse force. We look at e pluribus unum on our coins. Out of many, one. They were simply emphasizing on the battlefield, we are one team, and that's the way we stay. Thank you.
One more question from the Japanese media. Mr. Shiga.
NHK の志賀と申しま
My name
す。
is
私
Shiga
からは
from NHK.
マティス長官
I
と
have
小野
a
寺ご大
question
臣に
to
伺いたいと
Secretary
思います。
Mattis
ミサイル
and
防
to
衛について
Minister
です。
Onodera on the
北朝
missile
鮮は
defense.
ですね、グアム周辺に向けて、弾道ミサイルの発射計画を検討していて、状況は緊迫しています。こうした中ですね、今回、日米同盟においてですね、日本の役割を拡大するということが盛り込まれました。実際ですね、ミサイルが発射されたときに、まずアメリカはですね、どのような行動を取るのか、そしてまたその際に日本にどのような役割を求めるのか。また日本については、ミサイル防衛の中でどのような役割を果たしていきたいのか、そうしたことを伺いたいと思います。
What would Japan's role be in the missile defense? So also, what would the U.S. expect Japan to do in the case of the launch of the missile?
Very simply, in the event of a missile launch towards the territory of Japan, Guam, United States, Korea, we would take immediate specific actions to take it down. Minister Onodera.
Yes, simply, if my response would be in the event there's an attack on Japan, then we will use the asset available to us for the missile defense, and we will defend Japan. But should different circumstances occur, then we will solidify the relation that we have with the U.S. With a close communication. We will defend the country. And that is what we discussed today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.